Okay, we're out here in the driveway. So we've added our oil. It's took a half a quart of oil. I got just plain old 30 weight. And I put in about a half a gallon of treated fuel, seafoam treated. We've got our gas turned on, choke set, throttle at 1/3. So we're ready to go. Kill switch in the on position. All right, let me give it a few pulls and see if we get her running. I was just checking the compression. I wasn't even ready to start it, just giving it a half a pull, and it fired right up. Trying to throttle. Oh yeah, and I did take the key out. So far, so good. Okay, so we're back out here in the garage. So we finished doing our break-in run. We got about maybe an hour and a half of run time. That's enough. I'm not going to overdo it. So I've already cracked loose the oil plug here. It was pretty tight. And we're going to drain out our break-in oil, which is just regular old 30 weight motor oil. See what we got. Well, looks pretty clean. Should be clean. We're mainly looking for metal. See if there's anything in there. Yeah, so there we go. Well, nice.
Out of here.
Yeah, and from what I've seen on other videos, this is pretty typical on these. They don't do a good job of flushing them out. Factory, so hopefully we got it all out.
It's gonna have some wear in it.
Yeah. Oh well, it's only a $100 motor.
Did you already put new oil in?
No.
It only takes what, half a quart?
Half a quart.
That's it exactly?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it dry until get it all mounted up and everything. That way, less chance of having a spill.
And they got two.
Okay, so here's the old engine. It's 8 horsepower. Pay no attention to the Craftsman. It's actually Briggs and Stratton. Pretty typical horizontal shaft. 1-inch output shaft. It's got the standard mounting holes for accessories. There's the drive coupling and the old pump mount. So my main reason for replacing this, because this engine still runs, was number one, noise, because this thing is noisy, vibration, and then also maintenance. These carburetors on these Briggs and Strattons they're not that great. You constantly have to fiddle with them, adjust them, and so forth. They're also hard to start. You gotta, you're gonna be pulling on that rope a while, getting the choke set just right, and you gotta kind of nurse them along for the first 30 seconds or so with the choke setting and whatnot to get them to run smooth. And then the governors on these things, they surge like crazy. They can't hold a steady RPM, at least not on a wood splitter. Maybe on something that doesn't have any load. When it's disengaged, like a rototiller or something might be better, but they're just not that great of an engine. So that was the main reason for changing it out. And that Harbor Freight engine is, it's so low cost. I had really not much to lose, trying this out. So anyways, there you go. Okay guys, the wood splitter repower project is done. Okay, so what we got is a 24-ton, originally 8 horsepower. This one is Craftsman branded, although I think the original manufacturer is called Brave. I've seen these sold under various brands. It's a really nice unit, by the way, if anybody's looking for one. So what we did is we took off the 8 horsepower engine and we put on one of these Harbor Freight Predator 6.5 horse in its place. So everything I read is that it was just going to be a bolt-on, everything matches right up and you're good to go. Well, maybe on the smaller models. I think they do make a smaller one. But anyways, so the crossover point, 6.5 horse. When you get above that level, I guess 8's the next one up, the bolt pattern changes. So the bolt pattern, here's the old adapter. The bolt pattern is wider on the original pump mount, and the pump mount is also longer. So we can hold it up here. It's about an inch longer. Okay. And the other issue is the output shaft on the engine. The 6.5 comes as a 3/4 inch, and the 8 horse had a 1 inch. And it's a Lovejoy coupling. I mean, it's a quality industrial style coupling. The key is this is a L095 model, and then the 1.00, that's the shaft size. So what I lucked out, I was able to find a new old stock from a surplus dealer on eBay. So I got the matching coupling size with the correct 3/4 bore. It was like 18 bucks or something. Yeah, not even worth trying to make an adapter, for that price. And then I had to buy the new pump mount. I forget what that cost. It was like 35 bucks. Actually, I don't even think it was that much. It was around $30. Same thing on eBay. I'll try to put a link in. That worked out fine. The body of the new mount is shorter, but the output shaft on the smaller engine is shorter. Okay, so that worked out fine. I did have to re-drill the base, because what happened is with everything shortening up, using the original mounting holes, the pump wanted to be farther back, and that was causing the existing inlet hose to be at an odd angle, and I didn't like that. So it was just easy matter of re-drilling the base and moving everything forward. Changed the filter while I was at it, and I've already ran it one time just to see how it works. my father was over helping, and I handed him the camera. I go, okay, your turn to film. So I think what he did was a double tap on the record button. So we had no footage. Okay, then a little surprise was I ended up putting new wheels on. There we go. So one of the tires, the bead, was rusted. The rims were rusted. So I researched just getting some new tires. I was going to clean up the rims and give them a coat of paint. And it turned out you can buy the tire already mounted on the rim with new bearings, dust cap, even the air already in them for like $10 more than what the tires cost. So that was a no-brainer. So, all right, so we're got gloves, safety glasses. I don't have my boots on. I should, but we're just going to do a couple here. Hopefully I won't drop any on my feet. Already did that once earlier. Felt great. So let me get the tripod set up, and we'll do a quick test run. Oh yeah, and if you're doing the same project, you want to make sure that when you get your pump mount bracket, if you've got the larger style Lovejoy coupling like this one has, you want to make sure that you get one that has enough clearance to go for mainly for the pump end, for the coupling to fit through the hole. And this one I lucked out, it was correct. I wasn't too worried about it. I was just going to bore it out a little bit on the mill if it was too tight, but it worked out fine. And then also one other note, I was going to buy a complete coupling assembly. You can get them on eBay. It's got both sides of the coupling plus the flex connector in between, and they're only like $18 or $20, but they're imports. And when I started researching it, everybody said, don't waste your money. They only last like one day. So that's one of the other reasons I went with the Lovejoy. Okay, and also you have to make sure you align these couplings. There's enough slop in these bolt holes that you can be, quite a ways out of alignment if you're not paying attention. So what I did is I just tightened everything down, just barely snug, and then just kept adjusting both the pump and the bracket on the engine until I had a good visual alignment on the pump. On the coupling. Then I snugged them down a little more, mainly on the engine side, and then I just worked with the pump side. And what I did is I left the engine side coupling loose on the shaft so it would slide back and forth. And when you got it lined up correctly, you can just slide that coupling in and out of the jaws without it hitting anything or having any resistance. And then you've got it lined up. And I also did the straight edge check. Pretty hard to do it with a dial indicator with the way these things are made, but if you just use a straight edge, lay it on there, and then check to make sure that your one side of the coupling will slide back and forth in and out of the spider, that'll get you close enough. Okay, hey everybody. So we got the ye old wood splitter here. We're gonna do a test run with the old Briggs & Stratton. It's got an 8-horse. It runs okay. And to be fair, I just went through and adjusted the carburetor, got it running as good as I can get it. My only real complaint is just how noisy this engine is. and how much it vibrates. And the governor is a little unstable. Other than that, it works fine. It's never lacked for power, so that's why I'm hoping the 6.5 horse will be sufficient in place of the 8 horse. So, all right, so let me stick my earplugs in here, and we'll get her started up, and we'll do a couple test splits, so we'll be able to compare later on. Choke. Fuel's already on. A little bit of all right, try that again. Choke. Well, it strained a little bit on a couple of them, but I had it at low RPM or lower engine speed. So, I mean, overall, I think we're pretty good. So, I'm gonna get a load of wood probably this weekend, and that'll be a better evaluation. So, might do a follow-up and let you guys know how that works out. But so far, I mean, a slight reduction in power, but for the quietness and the smoothness, the other engine really vibrated a lot. So I think I'm happy. Okay. All right, thanks guys. Okay, brainstorming here, got an idea. So this machine is made so you can tip the whole ram assembly vertical for handling, you know, large rounds that you don't want to lift up off the ground. And I've ran it that way. Actually, I had another one before this one, exact same model. But I've ran them that way, and it's actually harder, except unless you've got one that's so heavy you don't want to lift it. But you're working all bent over way down on the ground. So I got the idea, actually my neighbor had the idea of just raising it up a little bit like this. And I kind of like it. That way you don't have to lift as high. And when you're lifting your log up, you're right there. Don't have to really bend over very much, and the waste pieces can go right into the wheelbarrow. So I think we might do that as another modification. It might be a few weeks before I get to that, but I just got to put a little plate on. The hole spacing is about 2.5 inches, so I got to add some plate and a splice plate with the holes drilled in the right spot, and that might be a good mod. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, I'm happy with the way this thing's running so far, and like I say, I'll get back to you guys after I run about a quart of wood through it for the real test.